mathematicians since then worked within the Islamic context, and I've gone into that in my book on religious maths because, you know, algebra was created by great Islamic mathematicians in Baghdad, partly Persian inspired, because the Persian intellectuals of the Islamic world were the highest caliber. And then they combined elements of Hinduism, Hindu mathematics and Greek mathematics. They were translating it all in the House of Wisdom in Baghdad. And this, but their approach was spiritual humility. They'd surrendered to the absolute, and therefore they were able to download from it the knowledge that was appropriate. I've also found out some brilliant historians of Hebrew maths who've been working on the links between Hebrew and Islamic maths in the Middle Ages, and they were very, very deep. You know, the great mathematicians working in the Hebrew faith were inspired by and working with their Islamic counterparts, and most of them read Arabic. Arabic was the language of science. Also Michael Scott, a great Scottish mathematician and philosopher who was at the court of Frederick II in Sicily, which must have been a wonderful experience for him, you know. He was again able to read the Arabic, because Arabic was the language of science, like English is nowadays. So Arabic was in 12th century Europe, and there are so many texts still in Arabic and Persian and Turkish that have not been translated concerning the sciences. And what I think we need to do is find out the metaphysical basis of Islamic science and understand, you know, how that humility principle, let's call it that, which is at the root of true Islam, which is also there in love. You know, you can't love somebody if you're arrogant or bullying them. You know, that's sadism. To truly love somebody, you have to be on an equal level. Equal but different. You're not the same. You know, you have different interests, and it's the difference that creates the love charge. But it's an equality ontologically that is behind the concept of love, and that, I think, is what needs recovering from, and that's really why I'm writing my book on religious maths, is to find out how we get to that love energy, that submission force, that brings proper surrender to the. You see, I say that love is to the metaphysical world as gravity is to the physical world. And just as we submit to gravity, we should submit to the laws of love. Okay, I'm going to finish there. I'm going to quote simply my poem to finish. Because at the end of the day, as Coleridge would have said, you know, enough science, let's do poetry. Because sometimes you can't say it in prose. You just have to put in poetry. Okay, this is the second volume of my poetic oeuvre. And I like this poem. I wrote this in Stratford-on-Avon. It's called For Shakespeare's Birthday. And I love Shakespeare. He was a great friend of mine in my youth. I acted in some of his plays. You know, I can kind of think like Shakespeare and download him, and we're old buddies, me and Shakespeare. He's, I think, one of the greatest writers of the English language, which I speak. Anyway, here's my little attempt to honour his spark, and it's called For Shakespeare's Birthday. I wrote it on April the 23rd, 1997. Everything goes missing, again and again. Lovers, once held, long held irredeemable as marble, sacred feelings beyond articulation, beyond hearing, within pure mind. Ideas about solving the knot of soul. The place where they all end up is silence. Hard to gain access, that kingdom. Mind only yoga karins. deep down sifters amidst wells and mines and caves, searching for diamonds. Awaken now, gently. See them scattered on each leaf. Dew crystals, the sunlight's glory. Some things are stolen, forcibly taken. What error is there here? The illusion of mine and yours, departing and retrieving into each other, we steal from each other's eyes their depths. Brilliant sparks across the black, gaining and losing, foaming in love, crazy with awe, bound to the wheel. Yet, if truly one, what endless plots we weave, and why? Cajoling, wheedling, threatening it out, forgetting and surprising ourselves in separate forms. The proud beauties of the breast we suck back to, and the lips of liquid pleasure our souls swim into, as minnows into the whale of being. And the endless circling and recircling as our souls pinion down again and again, parachuting ecstatic pirouettes, recalling glimpses of cosmic glory, stars wheeling and circling overhead, underneath, between, within and through. Thus our defence of sense, our floating, buoyant self, woven from tufts of gossamer down, of star fabric, thistledown, Milky Way juice, luxuriant and all compassionate. Divine Mother, wife, lover, goddess. Divine Father, husband, partner, lover, God. Dissolve us. Grant us to live gloriously this brief overshadowing enactment of your cosmic drama. Through our frail forms, solve us through that love within each enactment, each moment of ecstasy reached, each moment of joy stretched forth in faith. Resolve us into soul, re-soul us, dissolve us, resolve us through your passionate fury for peace, your jealousy for the real. Return us to the sea of the great soul, the sea soul, sailing and dipping into the white ocean water of waves, the rhythmic lapping and coiling, the gentle and fierce simultaneous Poseidon dancer bull roaring, teasing and temptress, sea bearer of foam. Stretched out far beneath all the despair, Adonis waiting for redemption and her promised return. Aphrodite's breast daring hell and the flaming corridors of false desires and yearning to attain that real love. waiting at the judgment seat of life and death. We'll meet there, patient at the pool of images, the lost soul's reuniting apex, the other halves assortment zone, where lovers gaze through glistening eyes, wide as halls, where poets recite their craft and bards strum gently on their strings of gold, and the magic of the muses dances and weaves between us, all made new, at peace, resold.